Okay, so I thought I would lay out everything that you're going to need for this dish. Again, this dish is the shallot cream sauce pork chops with capers. And what you've got here, of course, some heavy cream. That will form the basis for your cream sauce. Our lighting fixture just fell over. You've got the chopped shallots right here, coarsely chopped, one shallot. This is familiar to all of you because it says what it is right there on top of the package, so you need some of that. And a good knife, a good chef's knife, always good. You'll need some flour for dredging the pork chops. These are, I'll try to get this in here and show you the flour. That's flour. It can be, you can use bleached flour, unbleached flour, whatever your, I didn't want to zoom up like that. You're going to need flour for dredging, any kind of flour that you prefer. I'm going to throw some paprika in there. I need some white pepper. Part of the sauce is going to include some extra dry vermouth. Of course, in order to cook and fry, we need the olive oil, huile, and capers. And there goes the olive oil. That forms all the ingredients you're going to need. So, rewind this if you have to. I just love those shallots. There's nothing like shallots in the world. Nothing. Those are the ingredients you need for this dish. Back it up and check it out if you have to. It'll all be written down somewhere. This is my pan. You need a good fry pan. That's really every great dish starts with a nice, sturdy, stainless steel fry pan. And just so you know what we're going to serve around the sides of this dish, if you're wondering, when is he going to clean his stove? Who knows? We're fogging up the camera here. But French green beans. We're going to season that with garlic and oregano, and we're going to do some rice, some brown rice, any type of rice dish that you want to throw together on the side, because I feel like the rice helps soak up the sauces, and you can mix and mash everything together when you've got a nice heavy sauce on the plate. So rice and green beans. I like green beans. Okay, so here we go with our pork chops and cream sauce with shallots and capers. You see all the ingredients laid out in front of you. One of the most important things, I call this Bachelor Bistro style cooking. So if you're a bachelor dude who just wants something fast but good, just follow my lead here. But I just need you to put some trust in me. I think that maybe my radio is a little too loud, so we're going to turn it down. What is important in bistro style cooking, as I adjust all of my wires and stuff here, is that you gotta have everything. It's timing. Timing is of the essence. So one of the things, you get all your stuff laid out and prepped. This is your line. This is your cooking line. Okay, this is all of the ingredients, everything prepped and ready to go, or at least set up and situated in a way that you can get your hands on it fast in order to do this kind of cooking, this bistro, quick, snap style cooking. And you can do it by yourself. You just need the proper preparation. You need all of your ingredients laid out in front of you. Don't be looking for something at the last minute. Have everything there ready to go. So, we're cooking in a fry pan, in a skillet, and one of the things we need is to have that skillet heated. You start about a minute or two, get that thing hot, and then we're ready to go. And when I say go, we're ready to go, because this is going to happen fast. So what's the first thing we do? We want to put olive oil in our skillet. Okay, that's about 3 tablespoons of olive oil. That's what I say. You might say something different, but we're going to swirl it around, get it to coat the pan, and we're going to make sure that olive oil is crackling hot before we put anything in there. We're going to start off with our pork chops. These are center cut, bone in, cheap as dirt pork chops, and we're going to dredge them in our flour. I added a little bit of cracked pepper, black pepper, and salt to the flour mix, just to give that some flavor on top of the coating. I'm going to get them nice and coated here. The reason you do this, the flour protects. It acts as a layer of protection against the meat. So when you put it into the hot oil, it doesn't sear and stick to the pan. And we're going to take that dredged pork chop and we're going to put it in the pan. And you hear that sizzling, right? That's what you want to hear. That means that your oil is nice and hot. It's at the right temperature, and it's cooking that meat. The flour providing a protective layer there, so we don't sear and get it too much stuck to the pan. And it's just an easier way to cook. It cooks the meat more evenly, and so dredging with flour is a proper way to do that if you're cooking in hot oil and you're cooking fast like we're doing right now. This is not going to take very long to get these pork chops. They're very thinly cut, and it's not going to take it very long to cook through. So we're only talking about 5 to 10 minutes of cook time on the pork chops. So there's our second chop, and we're sizzling and crackling. We're going to give it some air underneath. Move it around, create some friction there so that it doesn't stick to the pan. And we're going to let that sizzle and crackle for a few minutes, maybe about 2 or 3 minutes, and then we're going to flip it and cook it on the other side. So it's nice and evenly cooked, and I'll be back in a couple minutes to show you where we go from there. Alright, so our chops are now, we've cooked a couple minutes on one side. I flipped them over to get them some cooking time on the other side. You can see they're nice and crispy, which is what we want. That flour kind of gives you that crispy, not too crispy. We're not talking about deep frying here. We're just talking about giving a nice little layer that adds a little bit of a coating, a little bit of crispness to the outside of the meat. We've got these in here for about 2 minutes on each side. They're thin cut, so you're not going to need more than that. We're going to remove these from the pan and plate them. And just even if they're not thoroughly cooked all the way through, that's okay. We're going to cook them some more. So here we go with our pan. Now what you have in the pan is some flavor. There's some meat flavor in there. There's a bit of a stock that has been created. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you the pork chops, because I think they're nicer to look at than what I'm doing here. I'm going to take out some of that oil from the pan. Okay, return the pan to the stove, and then I want to take, moving over here, I'm going to take about 3 tablespoons of butter. And this is how we create our sauce. You could call it a stock. That's 1. That's 2. 3 tablespoons of butter into the pan. And we're going to swirl and stir. We're going to get our wooden spoon here and get some of that meat flavor off of the pan into the butter. Integrate that in there, and that's now nice, and it's a nice butter sauce that we've created. But we aren't going to stop there. Next, what goes in? The shallots, and we're going to make sure those shallots fry up a little bit. We're going to bring our flame up, flame off, flame on. Karate Kid. This is the way we cook. So we're going to bring our flame back up. We want to get these shallots in the butter, and we want to get it, we want to bring out the flavor of the shallot. We don't want to burn them. We just want to toast them, brown them in the butter sauce like that, just to give them a little bit of cooking time in there. Get everything mixing and stirring together. We're going to turn our flame down now, flame off. Not off, but just down to a simmer. So you want to put your flame on low. And now you've got a nice simmering butter sauce with shallots. Man, if you could smell what I smell right now, those shallots are coming up. The flavor is unbelievable. So what goes in next? Our cream sauce, our cream. So we're going to put about 1/4 to 1/2 cup of cream in here. And again, we're going to stir. We're going to mix and blend all of that good stuff together. This is your sauce. This is how you get all that stuff in the pan, the shallots, the butter, the leftover juices from the pork are in there. And everything is just mixing together and blending really well. Now, what comes next? We want to cook this off with some wine, and I choose vermouth because there's a little bit of element of citrus in here. It just adds. You could use white wine, a dry white wine, but I think vermouth just gives it an added flavor. I didn't put too much in there, just a tiny bit. If I put too much, then I'm up against the wine and the cream having a battle with each other, and the wine tends to separate the cream. What I'm trying to do is thin that out and cook off the wine over a period of time. So now we're doing some stirring here. This is all taking about 3 to 4 minutes to get everything prepped and ready inside this pan. Going to add some spices to spice this up a bit, and we're going to do about a teaspoon of white pepper, and not too much because paprika can alter and change it, but I just do want to give it a bit of a zing here, so about a teaspoon or a ½ teaspoon of paprika, just to give it some color and to give it a little zing, almost like an Indian type of flavor. But that will round off your flavors nicely. Okay, so now we're into about 4 minutes of mixing this sauce together. I like the way that has blended. It's got a nice color to it. It's got a nice consistency to it. The smell is fantastic. We're going to take a pinch of salt, add that in, because that never hurts. Just a tiny pinch. And then we're going to return our pork to the skillet. Okay. We may want to put some of that sauce on top. It's okay, you don't have to worry too much about that because the sauce will end up on top at the end. And then we add our capers. Capers have a really nice element that they add to the flavor of the meat. Now everything is in there. We're going to cover this and we're going to let it sit for about 3 minutes and let everything blend together, and we'll be back to show you the final product. Alright, we've let about 3 minutes go by. We're going to take the lid off and we're going to look at what we've got here. A nice thick creamy shallot sauce with capers, and oh man, the capers add this distinct, almost lemony element to it. But it's strictly capers. Capers are a thing unto themselves. Shallots are a thing unto themselves. You get all of this mixed together. It's a nice pink sauce, and we're going to plate this up now. Hopefully this will go well for me as I bring all of these things together. I told you that we were going to do a brown rice dish. This is a mushroom rice. Okay, it's out of a box, alright? I know, that's a little lame. The rice comes out of a box, but you know what? If you want to do your own rice, we can talk about that later, how to do that. But this is Bachelor Bistro, so the rice came out of a box. Alright, so we've got our rice and green beans. We're going to take a nice little chop here with the capers. On top, we're going to spoon some of our delicious cream sauce. Get a little more caper in there. And bring it over to the table. We have our dolcetta from Italy in the background there. I think we've got Nat King Cole on the radio. And this is your pork chops with shallot caper cream sauce. Bon appetit.